Did JD Vance just kill the Pope? Don't get mad at me for saying it like that. I'm just relaying the news as I understand it through the memes I see on the internet. And according to the memes on the internet, it seems to feel like JD Vance might have killed the Pope. USA Today reports world mourns Pope Francis, a humble reformer who favored the poorest. And according to Luxembourg RTL, de poopst Francois ass doot.
That JD Vance killed Pope Francis, others claiming, "Can you meet with Putin next?" Amplifying these jokes was none other than JF Kennedy's grandson, Jack Schlossberg. He writes a similar claim on X, saying, JD killed the Pope, as he also posted this image on Instagram with the caption that reads, "What did JD do? VP of Little Faith meets with Pope yesterday. Today, Pope dies."
Pope Francis has passed away at 88 after a long battle with pneumonia, ending a decade-long papacy that divided Catholics across the political spectrum. But within hours of the announcement, an absolutely shocking conspiracy theory exploded across social media. Apparently, JD Vance somehow killed the Pope during what would become the Pontiff's final meeting. This wild claim spread faster than anyone could imagine, revealing just how quickly misinformation can take hold in today's divided political landscape. The facts are simple. Pope Francis had been visibly declining for months, wheelchair-bound, and struggling to speak after multiple hospitalizations for severe pneumonia in both lungs. Vatican officials confirmed the 88-year-old pontiff needed assistance with even basic functions, requiring aides to help him drink through straws and navigate his quarters. Despite his weakening condition, Francis insisted on performing Easter Mass and maintaining his papal duties until the very end, a testament to his dedication regardless of what you thought about his politics. What nobody expected was that his final official meeting would be with Vice President JD Vance, who visited the Vatican with his family just hours before Francis passed away. The encounter, captured on camera, shows an obviously frail Pope presenting gifts to the American Vice President: Vatican ties, rosaries for Vance's children, and religious artifacts. "Thank you for seeing me," Vance said respectfully, completely unaware he would become the last world leader to shake the pontiff's hand. The footage is completely unremarkable, just a standard diplomatic exchange between two prominent figures. The Pope appears exactly as he had in recent months, elderly, tired, but determined to fulfill his role. Vance, a Catholic convert, later described the meeting as deeply moving in a pre-dawn tweet expressing condolences after learning of Francis's death. Yet somehow, this innocuous meeting sparked one of the wildest conspiracy theories of the year. Within minutes of the announcement, JD Vance killed the Pope began trending across Twitter, Facebook, and TikTok. Liberal accounts with blue check marks started connecting imaginary dots, suggesting everything from COVID transmission to more sinister plots. Pope Francis appeared vibrant and youthful before meeting JD Vance, and hours later, he's suddenly gone? "I'm not one for conspiracies, but this feels off," wrote one verified account with hundreds of thousands of followers, completely ignoring the Pope's well-documented health struggles. The conspiracy gained steam when users began linking it to another recent Vance incident, where the national championship trophy mysteriously fell apart in his hands during a ceremony. First the trophy shatters in his hands, then the Pope dies after meeting him. "Who should JD visit next?" became a common refrain, with users tagging political opponents they disliked. What started as dark humor quickly morphed into genuine conspiracy theories, with some earnestly questioning if Vance was cursed or deliberately causing harm. COVID paranoiacs predictably emerged from the woodwork, suggesting that Vance must have transmitted some illness to the Pope, conveniently ignoring that Francis had pneumonia in both lungs for months and was already on death's door. These accounts, still traumatized from 2020, started lecturing about how nobody should shake hands and how masks should still be mandatory when meeting elderly figures, despite the fact that the Pope had been meeting world leaders continuously throughout his final months. Conservative commentators rushed to point out the absurdity, with one noting, "Those who suffer from severe brain rot will be easy to spot today. They're the ones trying to link Pope Francis's death to JD Vance or Trump. Ann Coulter simply tweeted, "Good work, JD," clearly mocking the conspiracy theorists, but inadvertently fueling their fire. The entire episode revealed how political tribalism has overcome basic logic for many Americans. What makes this conspiracy particularly bizarre is that Pope Francis was clearly in his final days. At 88, with pneumonia in both lungs, unable to speak clearly or walk unassisted, his passing was sadly expected by Vatican insiders. The fact that he managed to conduct Easter Mass and meet with visiting dignitaries in his final hours speaks to his determination, not to any mysterious cause of death, yet thousands of online commenters preferred to believe an elaborate conspiracy rather than accept the simple reality of human mortality. The papacy stands as perhaps the world's longest continuously influential position of power, spanning 2 millennia and directing the spiritual lives of over 2 billion Catholics worldwide. While presidents come and go every few years, the Pope's voice resonates across generations. Francis used this platform controversially at times, taking positions on immigration, climate action, and economic justice that put him at odds with conservative politicians, which partly explains why some progressive Catholics were so quick to embrace conspiracy theories about his death. Francis's papacy was marked by both tradition and unexpected moments that humanized the papal office. Perhaps most memorable was when he firmly slapped a woman's hand after she aggressively grabbed him during a New Year's Eve greeting. The moment went viral, showing a side of Francis rarely seen, one that balanced his compassionate public image with flashes of very human reactions. Throughout his tenure, Francis worked to modernize aspects of Catholic teaching while maintaining core doctrines, creating both admirers and critics within the Church itself. Now begins the process of selecting his successor, a centuries-old tradition shrouded in secrecy and speculation. Cardinals from around the world will soon gather in Rome for the conclave, where they'll cast votes until white smoke emerges from the Sistine Chapel, signaling a new pope has been chosen. The next pope will inherit not just the papal throne, but also the complex challenges facing modern Catholicism: declining attendance in Western nations, explosive growth in Africa and parts of Asia, and ongoing debates about the Church's stance on contemporary social issues. This entire JD Vance Killed the Pope episode reveals something disturbing about our current information ecosystem. When a world leader passes away from natural causes at 88 after documented health struggles, yet thousands immediately embrace a conspiracy theory about the American Vice President somehow causing it, we've reached a dangerous point where political identity trumps basic reality. In an era where we desperately need to distinguish between fact and fiction, this episode demonstrates how far we still have to go. The coming days will see Vatican officials releasing more details about Francis's final hours, and medical experts will likely confirm what everyone with common sense already knows. The Pope died from complications related to his long-standing pneumonia, not from a brief meeting with an American politician. But for those who spread the conspiracy, these facts won't matter. They've already moved on to the next outrage, the next conspiracy, leaving truth and decency in their wake. As we reflect on Pope Francis's legacy, complicated and controversial as it may be, perhaps we should also reflect on our own willingness to believe the worst about our political opponents, even when it defies all logic and common decency. In an age where digital platforms enable the instant spread of misinformation, each of us bears responsibility for what we choose to amplify. The Pope deserves better than becoming the subject of a bizarre conspiracy theory, and so do we all.